The subject is coaching changes. You know, that thing that just about every Cowboys fan that I know was hoping for and calling for after having to watch their team finish 9-7 and outside of the playoffs once again. It's just something that we're used to, and that's disappointment under the tenure of Jason Garrett as the Cowboys head coach. And look, I for one am pissed off about it. And trust me, I'm the kind of guy that subscribes to the coaching theory of you don't just change out your coach every year or every 2 years. I think every coach deserves a solid 4 to 5 years to really get his message through, establish a culture in the locker room, get the players to buy in, and also to get them to master his system. So I was always defending Jason Garrett through the 8-8 years. You have to remember he went 8-8 with a lackluster roster. But now they've drafted a lot better as the years have went by, and the pieces are in place. And we should not be outside of the playoffs at this point in time in Jason Garrett's tenure. He's way past 5 years at this point, and we still haven't seen the results that Cowboys fans, we're dying for out here. And what pisses me off is this is Jerry Jones's boy. Jason Garrett Jerry Jones has appointed him as his Tom Landry. He expects Jason Garrett to be the head coach for another 10 years. Believe me. So for all you guys out there wishing and hoping that Jason Garrett will take his clapping act, good play, bad play, mediocre play, I'm gonna keep clapping for you. Cowboys fans are sick and tired of that shit. And I don't blame them. But he ain't going anywhere. And that's something that we're gonna have to accept and move on from. And we're gonna do so right now. And we're gonna talk about coaching changes. Look, coordinators, there's some rumors that, Rod Marinelli, the defensive coordinator, might be looking to retire. But look, from everything that I hear and from everything all the information that I've sort of gained from reading all the insiders in Texas, Rod Marinelli is one of that guys that's probably going to coach until he can't anymore. So if he feels like he can get up in the morning and coach a defense, that's just what the hell he's going to do. So I would expect Rod Marinelli to be the defensive coordinator next season. And you know what? With the strides that the defense has been making, I can't say that I'm opposed to that. Now, a lot of people were calling for Scott Linehan's job. Linehan, look, I don't really think it is Linehan's fault. I put more blame on the players than the offensive coordinator. Remember, Linehan was the offensive coordinator for guys like Randy Moss, Chris Carter, those big years in the late 90s. He knows how to get the ball to his big play receivers. Like I mentioned before, Randy Moss, he was the offensive coordinator for Matt Stafford and Megatron. Monster years. So I think he knows how to get his playmakers the ball. He has a history of getting his big playmakers the ball. I just think that without Zeke, this offense really doesn't have any home run hitters. Really doesn't have the big playmakers. And Dez, that's a direct criticism on you, buddy. You're not Megatron. You're not Randy Moss. And I think we all know that. But at this point, it's hard to even call you a number one wide receiver. So I'm not going to put that on Linehan. And you know what? I'm going to give him another chance going into next season. Linehan is a power player. But as far as, coaching changes again, don't expect there to be any coaching changes coming from the head coach position or the offensive coordinator or the defensive coordinator. I think those three are coming back to the Cowboys without a doubt in 2018, and the type of coaching changes we're going to see are position coaching changes. We already have a few that we're aware of. We're going to talk a little bit about that in the very next segment. So as I mentioned in the previous segment, Cowboys fans, we're not going to get the kind of coaching changes that a lot of us were really wanting. Head coach, offensive coordinator, and even some people were wanting the defensive coordinator's head, even though I think the defense played really, really well this season. But let's talk about some of the coaching changes that are taking place right now currently with this team. So right now, according to multiple sources, Rich Bisaccia, the special teams coordinator, that third phase of the game, he seems to be on the outs because rumor has it he's going to be joining John Gruden up in Oakland. Chucky himself is taking Rich Bisaccia, and the Cowboys, I believe Bisaccia had 2 years left on his contract, but the Cowboys are going to let him walk. So I think they weren't very high on what Bisaccia has done here. And I, for one, am another one that wasn't very high on what Bisaccia has been able to do here, coaching the special teams. I think the special teams has really suffered. I really can't think of a big play outside of the play that the kid made. One play this year, number 10, Switzer took one to the house on a kick return. But outside of that, when do you see punts getting returned or big gains out of the punt returns? When do you see big kickoff? Well, nobody really gets big kickoff returns these days. Usually it's a touchback. But the punts, you see other teams get some large chunks from punt return yardage. And we really haven't seen that. So I don't really mind Bisaccia being let go. I think, that shouldn't really hurt this team too much. Now, other coaches that are apparently on the outs is quarterback coach Wade Wilson. And get this one, Cowboys Nation. He's being replaced by Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore has retired from the NFL, and he's going to be the quarterback coach. Look, I've seen my Twitter timeline today. A lot of people are talking a lot of crap about Kellen Moore. Why is he going to be the quarterback's coach now? Look, he's not in charge of Dak. He's not going to teach Dak how to grow. But what he's going to do is, he's a smart guy, and he's going to be able to break down everything that Linehan wants to do out of this offense and really, streamline that information to Dak. He's going to help out Dak a lot with the playbook. Trust me. Trust me on that one. I don't think this move is too bad. And put it this way, if the Cowboys offense falls flat on its face next season, chances are Linehan's out, and that would mean his boy is out as well. So, I don't think this is something that if he doesn't have success or this offense doesn't have success soon, don't worry. You're not going to see Kellen Moore as the QB coach for the next, 7 years unless the offense does his thing. So, another coach on the outs, secondary coach Joe Baker. His contract expired and they let him know and they informed him that he's not going to be extended and they don't expect him back with the team. I really trip out on that one because the secondary at the end of the year was really picking it up. A lot of young players were getting coached up, and you can see the improvement from these players like Jordan Lewis, Chidobe Awuzie, Kayvon Frazier. It seems like they were really taking several steps forward. So I'm a bit shocked by this, but I have a feeling that outside of those three that I named, most of the players in the secondary really haven't stepped up to the plate. I mean, at this point, Byron Jones is going to be going into his 4th year, and we still haven't figured out if he's a safety or a cornerback. So that doesn't reflect very well on Joe Baker. Another thing, Brandon Carr, Mo Claiborne, and the backup safety, I am forgetting his name right now, Wilcox, J.J. Wilcox, my man J.J., the hard hitter, man. They all were let go in the off season. They were not re-signed. And those three went on to have very, very productive seasons outside being on the Cowboys team. So maybe they were not being allowed to really show their skill sets because these players look good on other teams. So I think that's why Joe Baker's out as the secondary coach in Dallas. And we'll just have to keep it here and keep you guys posted on all the latest changes in the coaching staff. But rest assured, guys, Jason Garrett, Linehan, and Marinelli, they're going to be your boys going into 2018.